Welcome to The Explainer. So glad you're here today. Let's just dive right in because, honestly, the topic we're looking at is basically a story of liberation. For generations, healthcare has been completely anchored to a physical building, chaining both doctors and patients to some highly inefficient routines. But today, we are finally breaking free from those traditional physical clinics and stepping straight into the decentralized healthcare reality of 2026. We're going to explore exactly how AI and telehealth are actively replacing the old ways of doing things and completely transforming how we experience care. Seriously, why do we still wait at the doctor's office? You know the drill. It's a universally relatable frustration. You book an appointment weeks in advance, you fight traffic, you hunt for a parking spot, and then you just sit there in a stagnant waiting room reading a golf magazine from 2021. On average, patients are wasting 2 to 3 hours per visit just dealing with the logistics and the waiting. It's an incredibly inefficient system that drains our time, drains our energy, and frankly, it just leaves patients feeling anxious and undervalued. But look, we aren't just talking about a minor annoyance here. We are talking about a massive economic black hole. $150 billion. That is the annual cost of lost productivity in the US alone, simply because people have to take half a day off work just to see a doctor. And on the flip side of that, healthcare systems are bleeding $26 billion a year in no-show costs. Why? Because the friction of physically getting to the clinic is just way too high for patients. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The waiting room crisis. 2. AI and virtual triage. 3. Remote care and trials. 4. The hybrid care model. And 5. The ROI of decentralization. Let's jump right into number 1. The waiting room crisis. A broken system. So remember when the pandemic hit back in 2020 and telehealth completely surged? Well, as Dr. Kevin Foe brilliantly points out, our very first solution was just to build a digital version of a broken system. I mean, we literally traded a hard plastic chair for a spinning loading wheel. You logged on, you stared at a screen, and you waited. It didn't solve the core inefficiency at all, and it certainly didn't respect the patient's time. We needed something much, much smarter than just a digital queue. Which brings us to 2. AI and virtual triage. Untethering the patient. Let's trace how we got here. Think back to 2020. The pandemic acted as the ultimate catalyst, forcing this massive adoption of basic telehealth. But the real breakthrough? That happened in 2022, with a pivotal study out of UC San Diego Health focused on text-to-video innovation. And that breakthrough paved the exact path to where we confidently land today in 2026, with deep AI integration powering intelligent patient triage and completely redefining the entire intake process. So, what exactly is that UCSD breakthrough? Well, text-to-video triage is a system that entirely eliminates virtual queues. Instead of fumbling around, logging into a clunky portal, and waiting, patients just receive a secure text link the exact moment the doctor is ready for them. You tap the link, boom, you are instantly in the visit. That 2022 study proved that this method completely eradicated virtual waiting times, drove patient satisfaction all the way up to 94%, and, remarkably, saved providers about 15 minutes per session. Just imagine what getting 15 minutes back does for a doctor's daily schedule. It's such an elegant, frictionless solution. Now, let's head to 3, remote care and trials, care beyond the clinic. Because decentralization goes far beyond just a simple video call. The sheer scale of this remote care revolution is absolutely staggering. We are moving away from episodic visits, where you only see a doctor when you're already feeling terrible, to continuous, predictive care happening right in your own living room. Right now, 142 million Americans are using remote patient monitoring, or RPM devices. By using AI-driven algorithms to track vital signs like blood pressure and glucose, these systems can actually predict patient deterioration 24 to 48 hours before clinical symptoms even show up. According to Johns Hopkins data, this is resulting in a massive 42% reduction in hospitalizations and saving an average of $3,400 annually per patient. This is truly preventative care in action. Next up is 4, the hybrid care model, the 2026 reality. Because the reality of 2026 is that the future of medicine isn't exclusively virtual. There is just a night and day stark contrast between the old world and the new. Old centralized care demanded your physical presence, it relied on manual scheduling, and it suffered from incredibly high no-show rates. Decentralized care, on the other hand, isn't about abandoning the physical clinic entirely. It's this seamless, AI-backed hybrid integration. It utilizes AI triage to figure out if you actually need to come in, leverages text to video for those routine consults, and deploys continuous monitoring at home. It smartly reserves the physical clinic only for cases where hands-on care is absolutely medically necessary. And the patient demand for this hybrid approach? It's already here. 44% of patients have already embraced virtual options in the past 12 months alone. And the data tells us that an overwhelming 94% of those users are willing to do it again. The friction has been removed, the convenience has been absolutely proven, and consumer expectations have permanently shifted. And of course, where patient demand goes, market growth naturally follows. Research in Markets projects a massive leap for the decentralized clinic space. We're looking at a market valued at over $10 billion today in 2026, projected to nearly double to $19.55 billion by 2030. That is a 17.3% compound annual growth rate. Folks, this isn't just a passing trend. This is a fundamental restructuring of the entire healthcare delivery market. Which brings us to our final section, 5, the ROI of decentralization, the financial case. Because clinic administrators have to figure out how to actually pay for this, right? Well, the financial case here is undeniable. Yes, transitioning to a decentralized tech stack does require an upfront investment, usually somewhere between $150,000 to $500,000, but the returns are incredible. The average break-even point is just 18 to 24 months. The 5-year ROI sits between 240 and 380%. And by eliminating manual triage and all those waiting room bottlenecks, providers are saving 34% of their time. These long-term productivity gains and drastic reductions in no-shows make decentralization an absolute business necessity. But to achieve those returns, successful clinics are using a strategic 5-step roadmap. You can't just flip a switch. Phase 1 is assessment. Phase 2 is platform selection. Phase 3 is staff training, and honestly, that's the crucial step where many places fail. You have to heavily invest in change management. Then Phase 4 is a controlled pilot launch to iron out the kinks, and finally, Phase 5 is the full rollout. This kind of structured approach to transformation is exactly what guarantees actionable value. Now, as we build this incredible future, we really have to pause and consider digital equity. We cannot build a system that leaves vulnerable populations behind. Currently, 21% of people still lack reliable broadband access, and 35% need digital literacy support. So to make decentralized care truly successful, systems must incorporate inclusive design, offer multilingual support, and provide low-tech alternatives for the people who need them. Because ultimately, to quote Dr. Eric Topol, AI-powered virtual clinics aren't just convenient, they're essential for achieving equitable access to high-quality care. By bringing the care directly to where patients live and work, we're solving the last-mile problem in healthcare. We're tearing down the geographic and logistical barriers that have historically kept people from getting the help they need. Which leaves us with one vital question to think about. Is your clinic ready for 2030? Look, the waiting room is officially becoming obsolete. AI triage and continuous remote monitoring, they are the new standard now. The technology is here, the ROI is absolutely proven, and patients are ready to stop waiting. The only question is, will your local doctor adapt, or are they going to be left behind? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it changes the way you think about your next doctor's visit.